There's a lot of opportunity to learn about technology, whether it's through drones and artificial intelligence.
As tech evolves, what role do you see it playing in filling the labor shortage?
I think tech is crucial. There's still a perception that construction means dirty, dangerous, dead end jobs. And that's so far from the reality. Every day we see construction firms that are trying out a wide variety of new tech. It's both physical things on job sites. For the many years now, construction firms have been using drones, GPS, and laser guided equipment. They've been experimenting with robotics and 3D printing. But also, software is huge in construction. Many firms for years now have been engaged in building information modeling or integrated project delivery, where instead of the old paper blueprints, things are transmitted instantly and electronically when you have a change in conditions or you need to get an answer to a request for information. But beyond that, artificial intelligence is starting to show up in many ways that speeding up the design, the ordering, the implementation process, and also all of that infamous paperwork that has bogged down construction for so long.
So, Kit, Ken just mentioned technology. So, how do you see evolving tech help employers in better managing the unique HR and payroll needs of the industry and potentially closing the gap here?
Yeah, so in construction, it has some of the most unique and complex elements of HR and payroll. To give you some perspective, if you're looking to staff your jobs with employees, you need to make sure they have the necessary skills and certifications. You're often going to have to look beyond your geography to find the right workers at the job sites that you're going to be performing the work. The other thing is if you're taking on government projects, you're going to be subjected to paying government mandated prevailing wages and submitting certified peer reports to show that you're in compliance with that contract. And then if you staff your projects with unions, you're also going to be at the requirement of paying and benefits and wages, as well as reporting to the union in accordance with those contracts. Layering in tax considerations for working in multiple job sites, because in construction, the work is performed in the field, and getting the data back to the ERP at the right level of detail that has not only financial information at a high level, but also the critical costs of the jobs. It just makes the industry that much more challenging to have a necessary software to be able to meet those needs.
So, Kit, you've brought up some great points. So, at this point, I want to turn the conversation to looking to the future. So, continuing with this forward thinking and to wrap up, I'd love to hear from both of you as to what's next for the industry in the year ahead. So, Ken, I'd like to hear from you first.
Certainly, construction is on the cusp of major changes. For instance, in project types, we've had a year and a half of a big slowdown in single family home building. I think we've touched bottom and are already climbing out of that hole. And I expect the year over year differences in a single family to be positive for much of 2024 and beyond. However, multifamily construction has been operating at record levels or close to it. And I think that's going to drop off sharply in 2024, partly because it's much harder for developers to get their hands on money. The financing rates, the interest rates are much higher, but banks have also gotten very leery. That affects not just multifamily, but also warehouse, office, retail construction. Outweighing that, we are seeing huge amounts of data center and manufacturing construction, and I don't see any let up in that in 2024. On top of that, we should be getting more infrastructure, power, alternative energy projects of many types coming on board in 2024 and beyond. So on net, I think there's still plenty of opportunity in construction.
I want to turn you, Kit, now. And what do you see next?
Yeah, Ken brings up some great points at a macro level, at an economic level. From a business perspective, to really reinforce, I see a lot of opportunity and really an acceleration of government spending on those critical infrastructure projects. We are 2 years into the legislation. We've already put $400 billion in play out of the $1.4 trillion that was allocated. But in the coming next few years, now that industry and the government have a better sense of what this all means, everything from the prerequisites around Build America, Buy America, reacting to the prevailing wage law changes that happened in October of 23. All of those things are starting to get settled. And so now this is the year, I believe, that we're going to see a real ramp up in that spending, which comes at a perfect time in that there is some softening on the residential, on the private side of the industry. And so organizations can continue their growth trajectory by backfilling projects with government funded options.
Fantastic. It's good to hear. So thank you to both of you for sharing your expertise here today. While construction has unique workforce needs, these insights offer great perspective for many industries. So for more information, please visit adp.com/construction. Thanks for watching.